Hello again, it is I, the Rat, and that was Gun Gal Vex. This is the spiritual successor to Gunboy FL4K from BL3. As with the previous build, this one will have a written guide on Mobalytics available to access on the description and the pinned comment. Make sure to check that if you want the most up-to-date version of this build at any time. As for our skills, you can notice I have Bleed. Now let me get this out of the way quick. Bleed here is not doing anything illegal, exploity or glitchy in nature, it's just working as default Bleed. It is not critting. The fact it's not critting makes it not do the thing where it builds off of itself into infinite damage, so it's just doing passive DPS here, and since we're mainly using multi-pellet guns, the actual bleed applied won't be too strong, but it can be strong with like underbarrels and all that stuff. So it's just a good skill to have in this case, but it's not the broken bleed everyone knows. Other than that, I should mention I am skipping the kill skills here. We could have grave sights, and I think I'd want it, because gun handling improves our accuracy. And this critical hit damage here is good. I'll explain a bit why, but I had to skip it because gun handling is currently reducing projectile speed, and that's kind of a problem with some of the guns we use. I'm sure there's some guns it could be a cool thing for, but yeah, most of the time it's just a detriment for us, so skipping that. And grave implements I am skipping because since we're not building kill skills, we'll get our gun damage from somewhere else. Now target prescience, and this is where the crit damage from before comes in. If you hit a body shot and it crits, it will not get the weapon card crit damage you can see here. What this means is you should still aim for headshots even if using this most of the time. Unless, of course, headshots will just result in mostly misses, so in that case you can just center mass it, but other than that, try to hit your crits even though you have this. Material components is good here because most of our damage will be kinetic, and we have a very large kinetic bonus element pool here. In fact, it's actually higher than whatever our base damage is. Here on the right side, you can decide between Ars Arcana and Grave Vitality. It doesn't matter too much. I like Ars Arcana because it boosts bleed damage without doing anything weird to it. And after that we have Essence Leech alongside Bloodless Power. Essence Leech, of course, feeding Bloodless Power for our kinetic bonus element, alongside Leeching Attunement giving us more reload speed and lifesteal. And over here is a really good combo, which is Guns and Needles alongside Fiendish Invigoration. If you undervalue this skill, start valuing it because it's really damn good. Alongside this one, which is also really damn good. Movement speed is damage here for us, and fire rate works very well even for one-shot guns, because when you reload, your fire rate will dictate how soon you can fire a gun right after. So maximizing reload speed and fire rate to the best of our capabilities here is a good call, and this skill really does that for us in a somewhat consistent way. Depends on which rep kit you use, but you have many options of rep kit, so that's really not a problem at all. As for the class mod skill that's being boosted in this tree here, we are using a Teen Witch. Conjunction is usually a skill I'd consider pretty meh, but since it's passive damage here, if you get a high roll on it, you should not feel bad about it. It's not a lot of damage, but it's, again, passive damage. As for our augments and capstone, Heart Piercer is not doing much for us here, so this is a gun build and it's just there. But Grave Harvest is our action skill, uptime sustain. On our red tree, you have Enchantment. Now here you can skip this and grab 3 Hasty Fiends and maybe some Grave Sustenance if you want, or do any combination of these 3 that is to your liking. Enchantment's only on while we have our action skill active, but we should have it active most of the time. There will be downtime, but not a lot of it. With the Caffeine Specialization, the downtime should not really be much of a problem. But if for some reason you want to use Witchy Trigger Finger with this build, you can just use Grave Sustenance then instead of that. If you use Hasty Fiends though, be mindful of having too much movement speed. Some people might like that, some might not. I know it can get kind of detrimental to gameplay if you have too much, so just keep that in mind. And in Blue Tree, just a no-brainer pick, is just very easy to keep up this reload speed, very powerful skill in the grand scheme of things. In this game, if it says reload speed or fire rate, you can pretty much read it as damage, because there's not that many ways to increase our damage in terms of multiplication, so yeah, reload speed and fire rate boost are powerful. For our specializations, we are running Bullet Train. This is a must-have here. We are stacked on movement speed, and this will make up a lot of the missing gun damage we otherwise have with kill skills. Now with Caffeine is just about a necessity here, especially if you want to run a more offensive rep kit. But even with the cooldown ones, it's still really good. You probably will never want to swap this unless you're just doing some very specific speed kill or something. But for general use, now with Caffeine is just way too good. We have one shot, one kill here, not equipped, but depending on the weapons you're using, if you're using more single shot stuff, more heavy hitting single shot stuff like the Slugger, this suddenly becomes more interesting alongside that overkill in the future for me. It's not exactly what I'm doing here, but I'm just telling you, you have the option of these and trying them out. Riddle with this is also a great pick here. It's pretty easy to stack, pretty easy to maintain. Then we have the Best Defense, which has very frequent uptime because of Teen Witch, so that's taken care of, and we have this boost pretty much always. As for our equipment, my main focus here is the one-shot shotgun type weapons, but we also have powerful underbarrels and access to many other different types of gun. But I'll just give you the overall focus here and give you some other options. This is my main gun, but it's not necessarily the most practical to use, so you have some other options. One cool thing you can do with TKs is find one with an Atlas part, and that'll help you for bossing and whatnot, so keep an eye out for those types. Other than that, you can use a good purple. This is the highest damage purple I found. Maybe there's better, I don't know. It's also a one-shot shotgun, so shoot, reload, shoot, reload. Also remember to active reload, press the reload key after shooting so you reload faster, because if you just spam click, the game will not reload as fast as you can. We have powerful underbarrels here. That is up to you if you want to use them. I have this Oscar mic here, thanks Girthquake for pushing me to use it. This one rolled with a Torg and Jacobs part, and it's absolutely disgusting. Some of these underbarrels are definitely overtuned. As for some other options, you have the Root. Root with Jacobs and Atlas parts is just disgusting. You can, if you have a good one of those, go ahead and try it. Just a Jacobs part is also good. Katagal's Revenge with the shock mode, really strong. I've liked Sweet Embrace. It has good elemental coverage and good damage. Maybe not the best bossing damage, but it's just cool to use sometimes. So the Stopgap Sniper is pretty good. I don't really have the one I'd like here. It's a fun little gun to play with. 7th Sense, really cool for mobbing, less so for bossing in my experience. There's maybe better roles to get for this, like a Ripper part could be pretty cool. But overall, just pretty neat little weapon that can really kind of snipe enemies during mobbing if the shotguns are just outranged. Rainbow Vomit is really strong. Hellwalker is aggressively mediocre in this game, I'd say. It was pretty okay when it was kinetic, but the patch just made it fire and without any additional boosts, and now it has just a penalty against a very large portion of the health bars in this game. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. So until it gets maybe a further buff, it has decent DPS and the reload is fun, but that damage is kind of really lacking most of the time. it doesn't feel that good. Hot Slugger can also be really good here. The legendary effect's really good. The gun feels good to shoot. It has high damage. It has good one-shot, one-kill synergy on the specializations if you want to use it. And since it is splash damage, you can maybe swap around some points and get Volatile Essence on Green Tree to further boost the base damage. It won't boost the bonus elements though, but further boosting your base damage should have better one-shot, one-kill synergy if you want to use that. For our rep kit, I really like Shiny Warpaint with this reload roll. You can really feel absurdly powerful when you use this. It's just an absurdly noticeable difference to me. But you have many choices for rep kit. Triple bypass with amp is good for bosses with some weapons like the underbarrels. Triple bypass with any other sort of rolls alongside it, like more damage or any extra utility reload, can also be good. Harder rep kits in general, I don't have one here, but with the true charges and true effects that complement each other well, also good. Cooldown alongside an additional effect, also really good if you want to minimize any incarnate downtime you get between zones. As for our ordnance, I've been playing around with the kunai and I think it's really cool. You can stack it off of interactable objects, basically anything you can press interact/use on. So this includes ammo boxes, vendors, even the Encore machine. But other than that, you can use your grenades for more utility, like popping Vile Crystal enemies with the Slippy or some other AoE grenade, like the Jelly. These elemental purple grenades that produce large elemental bubbles are also pretty cool. As for our class mod, we have Teen Witch. As far as skill rolls go, you should mainly look for Corporeal and Grave Thirst, but it doesn't really matter that much as long as you get something okay. For stat rolls, just prioritize some damage stat or some utility. You can get a gun specific roll too, like shotgun, which should go a bit higher. Just something that benefits your gameplay is good to go here. As for our shield, we are using What's for Dinner simply because the bonus element it provides is very strong and we can get over shield super easily. And do your best to look for a part with amp. As for our enhancement, here I have a legendary Jacobs enhancement, but you truly only need Piercer. Bounce pads is good though, it will help in mobbing and stuff, and maybe certain bossing situations of course. If you find a purple one that has just Piercer and 3 good stat rolls, then that should be great. Here you should definitely look for gun damage and gun type damage alongside reload speed and things like that. Mainly because the gun damage and gun type damage you can get here is actually multiplicative to the majority of damage modifiers in this game. As for our firmware, we are running 1 Oscar mic, 1 heating up, and 1 Deadeye. Now you can swap this 1 Oscar mic for 1 high caliber, so you get that extra projectile speeds. It is especially helpful for TK's wave, but if you get used to it, then you can keep Oscar mic. Heating up is very powerful for a tier 1 firmware. And 3 Deadeye. Well, this goes back to the crit discussion. 3 Deadeye is powerful, yes, but you definitely need to aim for your crits here, because the crits from Deadeye are like the card crits and will only apply their actual damage on real critical hits. Also, you can consider using the Atlas Infinum and Atlas EX firmware here. They might be really good with the TK's wave. I couldn't test them yet because this firmware system is getting on my nerves a bit, so yeah, but I'm just leaving that idea out there. It might be really good with the TK's wave with an Atlas part. And this is it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Making Gunboy with Take 1 back in the BO3 days was amazingly fun, and I'm glad to be able to do it again here. And with all that being said, have a nice day and thank you for watching.
Stack bot is not what we're really trying to set up. This is not even a stack bot. This is a trainer because I'm trying to figure out how to make this thing do more than what it says. There has to be some type of bug inside this thing somewhere. There's no way that this class mod is one of the few things inside this game that works the way it's supposed to work, which would be actually a troll. This might just be a troll. We're Pokemon trainers now, so yeah.